that in just a second. And then our finals here from Richmond is underway. It's a flooded trying to kick things off. Shaheen will draw a card. Is it a Temple? It is. Temple of Deceit. Take a look at the top card. We'll see where that's headed here in just a moment. To the bottom we go. Harlan going to sacrifice the flooded train, go down to 19. Fish out an island or a plains here before starting his second turn. There's an island.
So once again, if you're just joining us and haven't seen Shaheen's deck in action, it doesn't do too much until turn 3. So what people can do up until that point is really important. For Harlan, he has Monastery Swift Spear, Seeker of the Way, and Raise the Alarm. All his other threats, the Rabble Master, Ascendancy, and Hordeling Outburst, all come down on turn 3.
Manic Influence is going to come down, pass the turn back. Shaheen will draw, play a Temple of Enlightenment. His deck is basically all set up the first couple turns of the game, and then once he gets to 3 mana, as you mentioned, that's when he starts firing off spells. Harlan's got 3 mana, he's going to fire for spells. It's a copy of Hordeling Outburst, 3 Goblin tokens. Got to pay 2 life to cast it.
Yeah. What Shaheen's going to build his strategy around this game is the 1 copy of End Hostilities that's in his hand.
He gets a Bioblight right now in the main phase, though. No nonsense. Get those tokens out of here, pass the turn back. Fear will draw a card. It's a copy of Stoke the Flames. It's a Temple of Triumph now. Take a look at the top card. That's going to the bottom.
2 Bioblights in the main for Shaheen, and they're among his best cards in this matchup.
He's only got 1 left now, though. So we'll see if that does come up or not. Though being able to just take care of Hordeling Outbursts like that is pretty nice.
Yeah, Harlan looking a lot like a regular Jeskai deck right now. His hand, remember he was on a mulligan. He has land 5. He has 2 Jeskai Charms and a Stoke the Flames. So 12 points of burn. And once again, I think this is where cards like Soorani really come into play for Shaheen.
Yeah, because Harlan's, kind of on the burnout plan here. He sends 4 damage upstairs. Springleaf Drum the draw. That's some of the disjointed nature of his deck.
This is the downside to playing the Jeskai. It's situations like this where you kind of wish you were just playing regular Jeskai aggro.
Yeah.
Because regular Jeskai aggro doesn't top deck Springleaf Drum here.
I guess that's fodder for Ascendancy if we ever get to that point. Something to discard.
Sure, it's something we can loot away. I mean, so Ascendancy, just to playing it as value for looting, is, you have to get, I'd say, 2 good loots off it before it starts justifying itself.
Yeah. Shaheen's going to sacrifice the Polluted Delta, search out a land here. He's down to 10. He saw Harlan play a Seeker of the Way. Not sure how long that's going to be in play, as that gives Shaheen a nice target for Hero's Downfall. Island is the land he will search up, and I think he might be digging through time here in just a moment. 5 mana plus 3 cards in the graveyard means that he will dig through time.
And Harlan has put some pressure on Shaheen, but not too much, which means Shaheen does have time to spend turns getting additional cards. And with his deck and this matchup, it really only takes 1 dig through time for him to start assembling that wall of Dissolve and Hero's Downfall that we've seen every other match.
5 cards to the bottom, 2 cards in hand. Dig is done resolving. Shaheen will draw. See if he has land number 6. Well, he picked up a Temple, so.
Yeah. Bioblight and Dissolve were the 2 cards off the dig through time for Shaheen, which is really what he needs here.
You mentioned it right away. Bioblight plays a huge role in this matchup. He's only got 2 copies in his main deck, but he does get to see a lot of cards between scrying with Temples and Dissolves and dig through time, too.
Yeah, he found them both game 1, and that's really powerful for Shaheen. Game 2 and 3, as we'll see, he gets a lot more of these type of cards.
Monastery Swift Spear was the draw. Time to cast that. See if this resolves. It's like just innocent enough that you're fine with it.
Yeah, you don't really want to spend a Dissolve on it.
Yeah.
But it can get some damage in. Remember, Harlan can fire off burn spells, and even when they're countered, they will prowess the Monastery Swift Spear.
Take a look at the top card. Temple. Gonna leave it on top. Shaheen with 6 mana. And so many times when we've watched him play, so many times it has been 6 mana, Dissolve and Hero's Downfall up. Though, he's going to Elspeth territory here.
And Elspeth's going to shut down the ground. This is Harlan's chance to resolve all the burn that he can.
Calculated risk here by Shaheen, too. Just basically saying, all right, well, I don't think you can kill me, and if I get to untap with an Elspeth in play, you're probably not going to win. Now Shaheen's down to 5.
Yeah, so Shaheen was at 9, and it's so important to say he was at 9 and not at 8.
Yep.
You see Harlan now a Jeskai Ascendancy and a second creature away from having the combo.
He's got the Drum and Retraction Helix in his hand. But, you know, those are the 2 cards that at this point don't help him. And again, a calculated risk by Shaheen saying, well, I hope you don't kill me that turn. Didn't die, and now he's able to untap safely with Dissolve, with Hero's Downfall, with an active Elspeth. Life is pretty good for him. Elspeth's going to tick up now. 3 more soldiers. He's been doing it like this all weekend long. Really all decade long, I guess.
Yep. This is now that he has a Planeswalker in play, he's creating virtual card advantage through those Planeswalker activations.
Shaheen's going to go down to 4. A touch risky against the Jeskai Charm Stoke the Flames deck. I'd be a little wary, but he does have a counterspell, and I imagine he won't take the shields down of that counterspell anytime soon.
Yeah, going down to 4 you're right, is definitely risky. It lets him dig through time with Dissolve up.
Yep.
And I think that's what he's going to do.
See the 5 mana being tapped here.
It's not that scary because of all of Harlan's 4 damage burn spells, he can only make 1 here. He can't actually, he doesn't have enough mana to make 2 of them. So the Dissolve actually does shield Shaheen here. And you see the key card there, Sorin Solemn Visitor, taking off the dig through time. A plus from that should pack game 1 away for Shaheen.
Yeah. Assuming he cast it in pluses at this turn, he'd be gaining 2, 4, 6, 8 to 12. Okay.
Enough.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot. He's going to play Elspeth here. Or activate Elspeth, excuse me. See if he wants to cast Sorin or not. He's already reaching for mana, so it feels like he does. While still being able to leave up Dissolve. Yep. There's a Solemn Visitor.
And
Plus
plus 3 summoning 6 soldiers, 6 ready to attack. They're all 2/1s. This is actually a lethal attack.
There's a Retraction Helix. A defensive Retraction Helix, not the best Retraction Helix.
Well, makes the Swift Spirit 2/3.
True.
So
True. Well, all right, and Bouncer Elspeth is pretty adorable.
it's got a lot of value to it, but there's no end game here.
There's some other problems on the table, too.
Shaheen goes up to 18, or 16 rather, and that should be enough.
Dig through time to draw here for Fear. He will cast it, take a look at some things, but I don't think he has a way out of this. Though the only person that does know is Harlan, as he's very familiar with his deck. And Shaheen, I think Shaheen may stop him from even doing this. Yeah. Nope.
Might as
Solve
well
that.
counter that.
Yep. And we're going to game number 2, my friend. Shaheen Soorani does win game number 1 here over Harlan Fear. Esper Control up a game here over this very innovative Jeskai token combo deck as we're going to come back to the booth. It is time for our final trivia question. So get your Twitters ready. You guys know the drill. Hashtag SCG Premium. Make sure you're following at SCG Live when we'll announce the winner at the conclusion of our final round. All contests and giveaways here at the sole discretion of SCG Live and Star City Games. In no way are our contests or giveaways affiliated with Twitch.tv. Matthias, a doozy.
We're going to look at the deck of Harlan Fear. It's an innovative one. It's down a game, but he's going to have some coming back to do. We call it Jeskai Token Combo. It is mostly a Jeskai Token deck, but does have a combo in it. And I'm wondering what blue instant is part of, enables him to combo off in this Jeskai Token combo, rather. If you believe you know the answer, please tweet that. Make sure you have the hashtag SCG Premium on it. It's a 3-part combo, but we're looking for the blue instant. If you know it, at the end of the round, we'll announce someone to win 12 months of Star City Premium.
That's a lot of months. Hashtag SCG Premium. Make sure you're following SCG Live, and we're going to head back to the match, take a look at the sideboard here, and we will see for Harlan Fear. He gets his sideboard into a pretty different deck if he'd like to. 4 Mantis Riders, 2 Oppressive Rays, 3 copies of God's Willing, 3 Magma Spray, 2 Negates, and a Glare of Heresy. He might just go the Jeskai route now and bring in the Mantis Riders.
The combo seems really ill-positioned against the Esper Control deck, especially when you look at what Shaheen's going to sideboard. So maybe we start there.
Yeah, I mean, you want to start with Shaheen's or Harlan's?
Oh, Shaheen's, because I think Harlan's going to react to what Shaheen's going to do. It's pretty clear how Shaheen sideboards here. Harlan's deck has tokens in the name of it. Well, 4 Drown in Sorrow seems great. Just great in the matchup. So after board, Harlan gets to have a BioBlight, 4 Drown in Sorrow. I think Shaheen boards in the 4 Nyx Fleece Rams as well. Harlan is more or less a aggro deck. He's trying to burn someone out. Nyx Fleece is great against that too. So negate, I'd sign up for that one as well. I think there's a full 11 cards that Shaheen can board in this matchup.
He has a lot of good options. I don't know exactly what he wants to board out in this matchup, but he's got so many good options to board in that he's just going to make his deck a little bit leaner, a little bit meaner, a little bit lower to the ground, lower the casting cost of some things, to be able to interact earlier. So I think one plan that Harlan can have is just try to go over the top of him with Mantis Rider.
Yeah, I think if you look at Shaheen's main deck, there's a lot of cards that he really would prefer to not have here. Cards like Ashiok don't do too much work because he can't actually... First of all, Harlan can ignore it. Second of all, a lot of Harlan's creatures, in quotes here, are not actually creature spells. They're cards like Raise the Alarm and Hurling Outburst, so Ashiok can't even really take those. I think a lot of his removal is very expensive. Things like Utter End, End Hostilities. Shaheen can get the same value on those spells for a lot less with something like BioBlight. So you'll see him lower his curve, be closer to the ground. Harlan's going to know that. If you look at that, what Harlan then has to do in sideboarding is think, okay, my creatures are going to be swept, my guys are going to die. Assembling the combo, I think, is going to be very difficult on Harlan's side. Shaheen will have a kill spell in response a lot of the time. I think Harlan boards out his combo pieces here. He may keep in some number of them just to keep Shaheen honest, but assembling it's going to be pretty hard. Once he boards out the combo pieces, what can he board in? Well, Mantis Riders and God's Willings seem to complement negate pretty well, and I think that's the board plan Harlan will be on.
Who do you think is the favorite?
Post-board, I like Shaheen in the matchup.
I do too.
And Shaheen has made this top 8 look easy. You know, he is 5-0 in games, and he hasn't really been put to the test yet.
I actually forgot about that. I just had to dial it back.
Think about his match against Brad,
destroyed him.
Match against Aaron Barrich. Same there.
Kind of destroyed him too, actually. I mean, Aaron had some fumbles with mana and stuff, but the games were pretty clear cut so far for Shaheen. He's 5-0 through the elimination rounds, and I imagine he only wants to play one more game.
I think what Shaheen's deck has going for it is consistency. His deck's very good. His cards are so redundant. So Dissolve counters any spell. Hero's Downfall, same mana cost, kills most any permanent. And a lot of these things, you know, Utter End actually pretty much does kill any non-land permanent. So a lot of his cards are interchangeable. They do the same thing. He has pretty stable mana. Shaheen's going to do the same thing every round. So what will beat him is when his opponent has a powerful draw. You know, some of Aaron Barich's, for example, in that matchup, if Aaron had a good draw on the play, Shaheen was probably going to lose to it. Aaron stumbled both times, and Shaheen, being the consistent deck he is, was able to take advantage of that. And I don't think any of Shaheen's opponents have come out swinging hard enough to knock down his deck.
We've talked so many times where Shaheen starts the game on turn 3. For the most part. You know, he's got a couple discard spells and 2 BioBlights, but, you know, by and large, most of his games do start on turn 3, the Hero's Downfall or Dissolve or something. And, you know, that you get that window, especially if you're in the play, to do something on the first, second, and third turns of the game before Shaheen's deck comes online, and no one's really taken advantage of it, as you mentioned, which is a little surprising, I guess.
You'd expect to see something like a Sly deck, if there was something like that, you know, that could really punish Shaheen for what he's doing here. Someone who's making 3 1-drops in the first 3 turns of the game. Shaheen would be hard-pressed to beat that.
But it hasn't been the case so far. I mean, Barich's deck was the closest thing he would play to, that sort of thing. And Barrich, well, he got off to some decent starts. He did fumble around a little too much.
We noticed that in the first game, he made the comment that Aaron only had 2 of his 3 colors in his opening hand. And you said if he had all 3 of them, Aaron would have, you thought, walked over with the game. He would have been able to make a 2-1 into 2. He would have been able to triple 1-drop Shaheen and thought there wasn't coming back from that.
Well, game number 2 between these players will be underway. We're almost to our first of 3 champions here this weekend. We have our Legacy Open taking place right now. We've also got our Modern Premier IQ. That player meeting just finished, so we'll have some players doing battle over there. We'll keep our eyes out on that. That'll be a lot of fun. I know that we just had that Modern Grand Prix that was won by kind of a Teamer Delver deck, so that was kind of sweet. And maybe Jeskai Ascendancy isn't as good as people say over in that format.
I mean, I like the results that Modern Open because, see, if Jeskai Ascendancy puts up results like that for a couple tournaments, it means I'll get to play it for a lot longer if it dodges the bannings.
Monster Swiss Fury coming in for 1. The truth comes out.
No, let's just not have other people win with it. If I can be the only one that gets to win with it, then great. Then I just keep going with it. No.
Here's a Flooded Strand, another attack here for 1. Shaheen's going to go down to 18.
I always love that mana confluence into Monastery Swift Spear start. I'd make it and then say, okay, we both go to 19, go.
You just got to let them know who you are.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
I'm here to give the beat.
I will gladly burn both of us.
Yeah.
Flame rift it up. Let's do this.
I know who I am. I know what I'm here to do. That's give the beatdowns. Temple of Silence is going to come into play. Shaheen will scry. You see, Harlan's going to sacrifice his Flooded Strand, search up a Plains.
Thought he didn't have a 2. Oh,
He might have
he might
raised
have
alarm.
well, he would have played it, right? Because Monastery Swift Spear would have gotten bigger.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
First, I was like, oh, he's going to raise armor on step. But like, wait, nope, he probably sorcery speeds that in this deck.
Yeah, he's going to untap.
Does have look like a pair of Hordeling Outburst.
I think he's got a Rebel Master too, so it's actually not a bad draw.
Now, you look at Shaheen's hand when we had a glance at it. It does show how this gets tougher post-board. He has a Bioblight in his hand as well as a Hero's Downfall.
I think there's also a Jeskai Ascendancy over there for Harlan, so his draw actually looks like it's pretty good. And there is Ascendancy, trigger the
There
prowess.
we go. Card Ascendancy sticks. He takes 2. And if this token deck is anything like the Jeskai Heroic combo deck, and I bet it is, this deck, it is night and day as to whether or not it has the Ascendancy.
Now Shane's got some decisions to make. He's got a Drown Star in his hand. We saw the Bioblight already. Does he want to kill this, or does he want to save Bioblight for something else? How scared is he of this Monastery Swift Spear? Scared enough. He's going to downfall it. Fear will draw a card. It's another copy of Hordeling Outburst. Does he have another source of red and mana? Well, there's Rabble Master. That card's pretty good.
Yeah, it's good enough. He gets to get the Rabble Master on the table and will get a token in, so likely can dodge some removal.
Prognostic Sphinx to draw. That'll be the way for Shaheen to stabilize the board. There's a Temple. Take a look at the top card.
And you know, this is just it, right? Prognostic Sphinx has come in every matchup.
Yep. There's Drowning Sorrow. Clear that stuff out of the way. Leave it on top with the Scry. Pass it back to Harlan. Red mana. Looks like he's going to have to take 2 to cast an Outburst.
Yeah,
Yep.
gets free loot here.
Just got Charm, one of the cards he found. Don't need that other Ascendancy. That can leave. Here are the 3 Goblins.
See, he's just got a lot of removal to slog through here. Looks like at least 1 Bioblight in Shaheen's hand. He has, yeah, a Bioblight and another Hero's Downfall. And then a Dig Through Time to complement it. So Shaheen really on the kill spell strategy here.
Oof. God's willing, what a beating.
Yeah, and this is not great for Shaheen because this was his last sweeper. It does mean that the pump is going to happen on the wrong turn for Harlan. Remember that Jeskai Ascendancy pumps the tokens in addition.
Yeah, Harlan casting God's Willing, resolving the Jeskai Ascendancy trigger, loot, draw, discard, and then scry with God's Willing and leave the card on top very quickly.
He did loot away a Mantis Rider there.
That's pretty telling.
Yeah, it means he certainly doesn't have a land in hand.
Stoke the Flames. Yeah, he's getting aggressive now.
And this is some great interaction here. Stoke the Flames with Jeskai Ascendancy only costs 1 thanks to these tokens.
That's pretty cheese.
So this is going to pump them all 3 times.
Yeah, it's just dead. Oh my God.
So Shaheen, yeah, takes 4 off Stoke, goes to 11. The creatures become 2/2s. Jeskai's Charm pumps the creatures to 3/3s. The Ascendancy pumps them to 4/4s, and then he 12s Shaheen.
That's a joke. Jeskai Ascendancy is so good.
It's
That card
a
is
great
so
card.
Good.
It is really powerful.
I was like, what's he doing? Shaheen's at like 15. Oh, you're dead. What? Yeah. Stoke you, pump my guys, untap them. You mentioned it costs 1 mana because you convoke it and then the Jeskai trigger.
Right.
Jeskai Ascendancy trigger untaps the creatures. Charm you, give them +1/+1. You know, trigger, untap. Yeah, you're just dead
And I
already.
think the reason we see things like Jeskai Token combo, Jeskai Heroic combo, Jeskai Ascendancy combo is you don't even know if you can call them combo. Like, what these are all capitalized on the fact is that Jeskai Ascendancy is just a really powerful card.
Yeah.
And there are a ton of things you can do with it, and they're all very good.
I guess, you know, discarding a Mantis Rider makes some sense. As when Shaheen had passed the turn back, when the Bioblight got countered by God's Willing, Shaheen just said, just let me know if I'm dead. And, yeah, you're dead.
I mean, you think about this, right? So Harlan makes Hordeling Outburst on turn 4 with 1 mana up. Shaheen untaps, casts Bioblight, and dies
Yeah.
at 15. So,
Yep.
I mean, Shaheen had the kill spell, too. That's great. That's why I like these kind of decks. I mean, yeah.
You like Jeskai Ascendancy because it's completely busted.
I
That's why you like
yeah.
it.
I don't want to play by the rules. It's great. Cast Stoke the Flames for 1 is hilarious.
Yeah. I like Jeskai Ascendancy because I can't lose when it's
And
in play.
I draw a card. I can burn you for 1 mana and then draw a card. And it's like a 7-point burn spell because he pumped his team.
Yeah.
So 1 red, 7 you draw a card. Yeah, great. I'll do that.
I think Patrick Sullivan would even be interested in that. Probably, yeah.
That's a good Magic card.
It is a silly, silly card. Harlan is, he may have found something here. And it's awesome because when we come to the tournaments, it's like, okay, it looks like someone has found another way to use Jeskai Ascendancy, but it isn't the same as the previous person. That's what's actually been awesome about this. We have 3 different Jeskai Ascendancy decks in Standard.
Yes.
You know? 3 very different ones. There's the mana one with Sylvan Caryatid and Retraction Helix, which we don't see as much anymore. At least
I still like that one.
I like it. I think it'll get better as we keep going. I don't know if it has the tools to be great yet. I think it's just okay for the Pro Tour because it hasn't really caught on. But it's clearly the deck is missing something. It seems like some other piece. Just don't really know what it is.
Sure.
I wouldn't be surprised, Fate Reforged gives it something. Just don't know what it is.
I think there's a lot of innovation that can be made to the deck. What it needs, and I think right now, is that deck needs a sideboard. The sideboard right now is 4 Swan Song and 11 pieces of cardboard. The sideboard's so terrible, you never board any of it in.
Yeah, I mean...
Swan Song's great. You don't want to ever touch that one.
That card's great.
That card's great. You know you need that in the board, and everything else is just awful.
People have tried Pelucranos, they tried Savage Knuckleblade, they tried
Hornet
they tried a
Nest.
transformational creature play, and it's that's okay, that's not it.
I tried some Gather Courage. Those were okay. Some Magma Sprays. Maybe if they're playing some Rabble Masters. But it's the best part is I played a tournament where I had some Magma Sprays in my board, and my opponent played a Rabble Master deck, and I was like, I don't even want these, and I didn't even board them in. It's like, well, that's pretty telling.
Just try to combo.
It's pretty telling that I don't want Magma Sprays in the Rabble Master match. I'm like, why are these in my deck?
Yeah. Don't need them.
Play some with Circle of Flame.
Ugh.
That's a good Magic card. Yeah.
It's a card.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good one. It's a card. It's good against a very certain type of deck and draw.
Yeah, it's good against mono red aggro. It's good against Sly. That was it.
Temple of Enlightenment to start things off for game number 3 here for Shaheen.
Tell you what, it's not even that good against Sly.
Yeah, I
know.
know.
They just put an aura on a guy.
Mystic Monastery comes down there for Fear. Shaheen with just a land, pass the turn back. Can't cast Bioblight on this board.
And Fear has kept a hand with Jeskai Ascendancy in it again.
It's a good idea. Polluted Delta.
He's on the draw, though, so it doesn't work as well this time.
There's a Temple. A little just draw, go, scry action here. Nothing crazy going on yet.
Interesting play here. He could have made Mantis Rider or Ascendancy that turn, but he instead opted to just play a Temple.
Shaheen misses his 4th land. There's a 4th land there for Harlan. Here's 3 mana.
Huge opportunity for Fear.
That's a Mantis Rider. Shaheen can't dissolve this fast enough.
Well, this is great on Harlan's side because he's getting the dissolve out of Shaheen's hand. If Shaheen went for the Hero's Downfall, the God's Willing would stop it. But getting all the dissolves out of Shaheen's hand really increases the chance that Harlan gets to resolve Jeskai Ascendancy, which is the actual prize here. So he's forcing Shaheen to use the wrong removal on each card.
Man, that's going to resolve. So we're going to get a little scry action here. Shaheen looking for land number 4 in a big way.
I think that's why Shaheen chose to dissolve those. He wants the scry 1 is just invaluable.
Ugh, Elspeth the draw. Yuck. Pass the turn back.
He's got time though. He has a second dissolve. He has a negate in hand. Things aren't going to resolve for a while.
We're getting swifty. Ooh. Now that's the ultimate test spell. If Shaheen's countering that.
That is a really bold dissolve,
Yeah.
and now Harlan gets the real card, Jeskai Ascendancy.
Trouble has arrived. There's land number 4. Does Shaheen have a card like Utter End here?
He has Sorin. He would have to take down his counter magic to do so, and he knows what happened last. Jeskai, I guess there's no creatures in play, so he can take down his counter magic 1 more turn, but that's about it. The Ascendancy draws with this deck are really good.
Harlan gonna draw a card. Swift Spear. Is he gonna counter this again?
He does have a 3rd dissolve.
Yeah.
It's there.
He's got a Bioblight too.
He can't cast Bioblade. He has single black,
Yeah.
actually.
And maybe he's just thinking, I'll wait till I draw another Black Source. I can take a couple hits from this, maybe.
He knows he can't answer this, but if you looked at his expression there, he just can't bring himself to dissolve.
Well, there's a Ram. That's not so bad.
It's at a price. He has to take down his dissolve mana for that. He can keep up his negate.
Trigger this.
Just remember that Shaheen can decide whether or not to negate. He can wait until all these triggers are done.
Discard God's Willing. Jeskai Charm's going to resolve.
Looks like that was just right upstairs.
It's a confident player on the left. You can tell he's played this deck for a little while. Like all the sequencing and just, the triggers and everything, it's just, this isn't new to Harlan. You can just tell. There's a glare. Trigger. Prowess. Negate that.
Can't actually afford to lose the sheep.
What's the block? Blocking is not going to work out very well. Prowess triggers and Jeskai Ascendancy triggers. Yeah, it's not going to work out
So
very
remember,
well.
each non-creature spell pumps twice on Swift Sphere, so it actually got all the way up to a 5/6 that turn, which is why it got through Nyx's Voice Ram.
Shaheen needs end hostilities now.
We saw last time. Last time Harlan got to untap with 3 creatures, no Jeskai. He won.
I don't know if you can see Harlan's hand right now.
Oh, it's another untap and kill you hand.
Yeah, there's 2 Stokes this time instead of 1.
Remember, even if Shaheen counters the Stoke the Flames, the creatures still untap, they still pump. This is still really bad for him, and I think it's still lethal.
And the fact that he drew a Swift Spear, oh my gosh, this turn's going to be insane.
I think the game is over.
Stoke you. Trigger. Yeah, this turn's insane.
So trigger, everybody's going to untap. Here's some Prowess triggers for the Swift Spears, so they're going to go up to 3/4 regardless of whether this resolves.
Yep. And Shaheen's looking at his 1 counter display, says, yeah, I'm going to counter this, and Harlan does not care at all.
No, right now this is 10 damage worth of creatures.
3,
And
6,
might as well
8.
make it 18 with another Stoke.
Yep.
No, wait, not 18. That's even more. Goodness, that's 22.
Yeah, so 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 10. Yep. So, Mike, this is so much. Yeah, you're
10.
dead. Yeah, you
you're
are
just very-
dead.
Or
Harlan.
20. Yeah, 20.
Harlan Fear,
Whew.
in very impressive fashion with his Jeskai token combo deck, is your standard open champion here in Richmond. Wow.
Jeskai Ascendancy continues to be an excellent card, and Fear is showing off some of the strength of the things you can do with it in play.
Just wow. So let's dial it back a little bit. Okay, so we saw the deck at the Pro Tour with the mana, and you can go infinite and kill him in a different couple of ways, but as you mentioned, the sideboard is horrible.
That's probably the flashiest Jeskai Ascendancy deck. You win on turn 3 sometimes.
Yeah, so there's that version, but it's
Yep.
pretty inconsistent. The sideboard's terrible.